Yes guys, welcome back to another episode of the MONOPOSTO track guide series, and today we have episode number 11 and we're going to be taking a look at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. This is in fact this is the shortest lap on the Formula 1 calendar in terms of lap times. This is hopefully going to be quite a quick one today, especially given the fact that the circuit has lots of straights, but also there's a couple of really quite technical corners. Well, maybe not necessarily technical in real life, but they are different in this game that I would really recommend you pay close attention to, particularly in the middle sector. So be sure to like and subscribe if you're excited, if you're finding these videos helpful, and let's get straight into it. Okay, first things first is your setup for Austria. Also notice the camera angle looks slightly different because there's been a very small update to this game since I was last on it, which has involved the new car models and better AI. This is the setup that we're going to be running. It's obviously a pretty low downforce circuit. Is Austria very much a power track? As I say, I always just leave brake balance in the middle. In terms of suspension, that's entirely up to you. That's personal preference. Again, in this game, that will hardly make any difference. It's mainly the wings that you want to focus on, but I adjusted the slider so that it was level with the W. I think that's best because you do still want some downforce for some of these high-speed corners, but as I say, it's mainly a power track. So coming to the start of the lap then, you want to make sure you ride that inside curb through turn 9 and then turn 10. This is a horrid little corner actually. It's really easy to run wide. You do want to come slightly wider on the entry as you're starting the lap, then bring your car onto the left hand side, open up DRS and DRS, manually disable ERS when you're level with the pit exit, and then we're heading up towards turn 1. Now you want to bring your car now at the start of the blue runoff, use all of the track possible, make the corner as wide as possible on the entry. It's a brake at the 50-meter board. However, what I would advise you do is you can ride the curb into turn 1. Like I said, that was not an outtake, that was a way of how you could ride it, but just be careful. Notice that little bump there. So if you're riding the curb into turn 1, that's fine. I would be careful when you go on the inside because there is a bump in the track. Use the blue runoff on the exit, although be very careful to make sure your car is off the runoff and doesn't touch any of the grass afterwards. You need to quickly bring it over, but by then you're back up straight into ERS, DRS, all the way down towards turn 3, bombing it down. Next, this is a really tricky corner as well because it's a completely blind corner. It's really hard to spot the entry, so 100-meter board a bit too early. I like to brake at the start of this curb on the left hand side, so bam, straight line braking. However, if you brake too late on the 50-meter board, for example, like I did in the outtake, then you're just going to spin out and you're not going to get the car stopped in time. So it's at the start of that red and white curb on the left-hand side, bam, straight line braking. You want to turn the car in relatively early. Don't turn in too late, otherwise you'll end up drifting out wide and then you can't get on the power as early. So take a nice shallow apex up into DRS, straighten up the car, and then you'll blast up into ERS nice and slowly. As I said, make sure you just take the path of least resistance down towards turn 4. Be gradual on the power. Don't get straight on the power mid-apex. Wait till you've straightened up the car. And now we've arrived at turn number 4. So again, use the entire width of the track. Use as much of this blue runoff as you possibly can. There are no invalidations. But again, if you have all 4 wheels off the track, you do then risk running into the gravel. You do want to make sure you have some of it so you can effectively just ride over this curb. Brake at the 50-meter board. Turn, use this inside curb if you want to. That curb will be nice to you, and then come wide as possible on the exit. Use the exit curb if you want to, then bring the car back across to the right hand side for these next 2 blind left-handers. And these, in my opinion, this right here is the hardest corner on this circuit in this game. It's so incredibly hard to judge because in real life there's no trees in the way or anything, so you can at least see the exit. Whereas in MONOPOSTO, the braking / steering reference is just a complete guess because it's totally blind. There's trees in the way. This is a lot harder than turn 3 because it's taken at such high speed. That's why it's easier to make a mistake. Yes, turn 3 is blind, but I find this corner to be a lot harder. Try and avoid using that inside curve that I just rode on. However, on the exit, bring your car as far to the right as possible. Now, this corner here, again, is super long, and it can be incredibly easy to get on the power nice and early, but I would brake at this curb on the right-hand side. Make sure you steer. You can use the curb on the left-hand side, and on the exit, make sure you use that curb on the right hand side there, and by this point you should be up into ERS. Use all of this runoff, make the track as wide as possible. You can carry more speed through. Then we've arrived at turn number 9. Your car's on the left-hand side at this point. Obviously, you're braking, steering through the detection point, and for this corner here, turn 10, as I said before, is incredibly easy to make a mistake. So there's, I think, 2 dabs on the brakes for turn 9, and then for this corner, you want to brake before you actually enter the corner, because otherwise you're just going to do what I did in the outtake, and you're just going to steer off and just crash. So make sure you brake just before the curb starts on the left hand side as you approach turn 10, and then you're just blasting up to the line. And that's it. That's today's track guide in Austria. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one. If you enjoyed, please be sure to like, share and subscribe. Goodbye.